Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and in this video today we're going to show you how to build a garden table out of pallet wood or some extra lumber that you may have laying around. Okay, now to begin this project today you're going to need some tools. You're going to need a tape measure, a small square, a level, a couple boxes of screws, a drill, and a compound miter saw. Now as always you're going to need some safety glasses and some earplugs because we want to protect ourselves. So let's get started now. Okay, now to begin with, I've already framed up part of the project. Now don't panic. The reason I wanted to start actually filming at this point was that way I can go over a lot quicker the dimensions, the measurements and all that, and show you how to fabricate it and not have to try to explain it and do it at the same time. I can actually just show you it in the frame stage, and then we can actually start putting the planking on it. To start with, you're going to need 4 2x4s. Now I'll put the linear feet that you'll need of all the board footage and everything in the build description at the bottom of the page, but I cut 2 of my back 2x4s 58 inches tall. Now regardless of the height that you actually make the table, you need to make sure that's 58 inches because that's going to give plenty of clearance in the back to hang your garden tools. Now on the front, here's the tricky part. This is the only tricky part of the build, is you need to make sure that the table surface top is actually to a workable height for the person that's going to be using this garden table. So I cut this one at roughly 42.5 was where this was cut. And that the reason being, my wife's aunt is who we're making this for as a gift, and that will be appropriate height level for her to comfortably work and do her potting and everything. So make sure that when you cut that, because it doesn't matter if this is lower or a little higher, this is the important part, to make sure that's cut to the appropriate height. Now as far as boards go, all the slatting boards are 3 foot long. Okay, just cut them 3 foot long. You cut all the side boards 2 foot long, and it's very easy to begin the sides as you just screw it even with the top and the end to the 2x4s, and then you've got your sides fabricated up. The only difference is remember, if you adjust your height, you need to mark a line right here with your square where that the equal height is with the 2x4 there, and just start that across there. Now on the bottom I cut 2x4s, and what we done is we put that to the inside instead of the outside. And we're going to cut our boards for the inside to go down here. Now there'll be 5 planks that go across this. I used 1x4s. If you reuse pallet material, it could be a 1x6 or 1x8. So you'll just have to adjust your spacing some. I just used what recycled material I got. But the inside boards, you'll need 5 boards if you use 1x4s that are 33 inches long. I'm going to actually show this being fabricated together in a minute. Now I also reuse some wood here. You can make you a brace to go on the inside. I encourage you to make you a brace, that way the table stays good and firm. Now make sure to use your square as you're squaring up the sides, the bottom. Make sure that it's level. Lay your level across side to side, lengthways if you can. Make sure it's level. Now on the inside at the top, lean this forward, I used some scrap pieces of 2x4 and screwed them to the inside of this board, and that right there is going to give me a surface to screw my top boards to. Now the only place you won't put a board on this is back here, because that'll give you plenty of room for your garden tools to hang down, and if they need extra space. We're going to put some boards on the back of this too. So I'm going to get started screwing that down now, and we'll show you as it goes. I'm going to do the top, the back, and then the bottom last. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do as far as bracing the top up is, once that you've screwed your 3-foot section along that's connected your sides up, and you've got your back panel on, we're going to take a 2x4 and we're going to screw it onto the inside near the middle to support the boards coming across. That way you have a brace on the sides and on the center section. Okay, now that we've got our center support up at the top, I'm going to take and actually start putting my slat boards on the top of this now. And what I done to space it is I took a 1/4 inch board and I used it to judge the gap between each side, and that way I knew where to continue putting my slats. Now if you use 6-inch boards, you know, you'll need to adjust your spacing. If you use 8-inch boards, you'll have to figure out how much space to put between each one. Because, I mean, you don't have to worry about if you got quite a bit of a gap, because, I mean, that's good. You can rake your dirt out of the way once you've got done potting, since it's a garden table. But now I'm going to start screwing these boards together, and we'll take a look at that when that's done. Okay, we can see that we've got our top layer on now. It looks really good. Equally spaced grooves. Turned out nicely. Now we're going to move to the back section. Now it's important that, like, once that you have your sides framed up and that you've made certain that they were square, that whenever you get to the top section, that you make certain that your top is square when you lay that board across to this side. That way that your spacing is equal on each side, and that your top plate will be holding the support of the top post and keeping this entire unit square at the top also. So we're going to put that on now, and then the back side, and you'll see how that looks. Then we'll do the bottom last, and we'll have it finished up. Okay, so now we've got the back top plate on and got a couple back boards. I didn't really go nuts putting a bunch of boards on there, because all that you're going to have this for is just to dangle your garden tools off of. The main point, just make sure you know that this is square. Cannot overstress to keep this thing square. And that pretty much concludes the top plate and the back. And now we're going to go to the bottom shelves, and we're going to knock this project out. Okay, we now move to the bottom of the framework. Now just remember, I used the deck railing wood because I just had spare piece, but you can use you know, a piece of 2x4 you can cut to make your brace, or you can cut a piece of the slat board that you would find on a pallet. You can put that up through there for your brace work. But now moving to the bottom portion here, we're going to do the same thing as we done up here. We're going to put a 2x4 brace in the center to go and help brace our sides that are holding the boards. We're going to do that down bottom here, middle of the framework. We're just going to come over and make that even in the middle of the framework, put that on, and then start screwing our boards down across through there using the same spacing as we did on the top. If you have the 6 or 8-inch boards off a pallet, you'll make the spacing appropriately and even for those. Okay guys, so that concludes the build. Just remember that your dimensions are important to get right on the height of the table. Everything else, just remember, is 3 foot wide, 2 foot deep. And if you're using 6 or 8-inch boards, you just need to adjust your spacing accordingly. I'm going to put all the specs, like I said, in the description below in the video. Now for those of you who garden, or who are looking to start gardening and start farming, and, you know, doing some prepping with farming, I encourage you to really start getting in depth with it now. Start actually getting everything you need: the cans, the can seals, a pressure canner, or a vacuum sealer, and actually start getting all that you need, so that these next couple of years you can put back all that you can. Because me personally, I don't think we're very far from the trumpets beginning sounding, and it's going to be very hard for those of us in the agricultural industry, such as myself, that's a beef farmer, to put these things back anymore. And I encourage you to check out the 7 Trumpets of Revelation series at worldslastchance.com and view it, or you can view it on YouTube. Check the link we've got below. This is important information. This right here can help save lives, and I encourage you to watch it, because one day it might help save your life. So until we see you again, hope this has been a help to you, and have a most blessed day in Yahushua's name.